Coming to you live from the Elliott Avenue Studios, this is The Barbershop. Brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail, the official auto detail provider of the Seattle Seahawks. And by the Trufant Family Foundation, an organization aimed at improving the community one kid at a time. With Marcus Trufant, here's T. Holla.
What's up, everybody? We are back. It's The Barbershop Show coming to you live on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's me, T. Holla.
And yes, it's Marcus Trufant.
And we are back in the building. It's been a little while since we've been here hanging out with you guys. Thank you for joining us, whether you're listening to us right here in Seattle on 950 KJR or you're anywhere around the world listening to our iHeartRadio app. We thank you for hanging out with us. It's been a minute. Man, it's just before Christmas since we had a chance to be in here.
It's been that long, T?
Yeah, I know. It seems like it's just yesterday, right?
Feels like forever.
Feels like forever for you, right?
I hate being here alone.
We left Nathaniel here all alone by himself over the holidays, but we are back, man. We are back having a good time. Hey, we got a hell of a show lined up tonight for you guys. Make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be talking about Seahawks, man, and the fact that we are not in the playoffs. And my man Nathaniel is back there behind the glass, grinning from ear to ear because, of course, he is the 49ers fan in the family. And we're not going to hold that against him right now, but we're probably going to beat him up a little later on in the show about it.
How? My quarterback's a stud.
Your quarterback is weak. Anyways, we're going to talk about him too, probably, maybe, if you're lucky. But we're definitely going to talk about the Seahawks, the fact that they're not in the playoffs, and they got a hell of an offseason ahead of them. We're going to discuss what we think might happen, and we want to hear from you guys, too, what you guys might think will happen to this Seahawks team this offseason, how they're going to rebound. We're going to talk about college football because we just finished with the bowl season, True.
Do we really have to talk about that?
Yes.
I mean, I know we this is a sports talk show, but I'd like to say go Cougs still. But lately it's been a little hard to say go Cougs. This is like a first for me. I've been seeing my Cougar hats in the closet, my Cougar shirts, and I look like I think twice now, T.
What?
But just give me some time. The year is just starting, but just give me some time. And still go Cougs, y'all, so don't think I'm jumping ship or nothing like that. But it's just been tough.
You looking forward to a few more years of Helinski? He's a real good quarterback, huh?
Like I said, just give me some time. Just give me some time.
It's all right. The saving grace for you, True, is that the Cougars aren't the only sucky team right now on this side of the country, and we're definitely going to talk about that tonight. And we're going to play winners and pretenders. One thing we are going to do tonight, also, outside of playing winners and pretenders, is since this is the first show we've been back since the holidays, so we missed Christmas. So we missed New Year's. We didn't get to do a New Year's extravaganza. So
Extravaganza.
This has to be our New Year's show, man.
All right.
I want to recap and ask everybody out there that's listening, and ask you, True, and ask you too, Nathaniel, what was the top sports story of 2017?
You already know my answer.
I don't know. Well, I don't care. No, matter of fact, I'm not asking Nathaniel tonight. I'm not asking him what the top story is tonight.
I'm just kidding.
I'm
not going to choose that.
We're going to ask the rest of Seattle and the rest of the world, what was the top story in the sports world of 2017? And tonight, we're going to come up with the top 3 stories and give them to you as only the official barbershop can do.
Okay.
But True,
What
you know what's up, man.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
It's hump day, and it's the
Hump
day
day.
that we are back in business, man. It's our first day back since New Year's, man. I want to be the first one to say Happy New Year's to everybody. True, Happy New Year's, bro.
Much appreciated. Happy New Year to you too, brother.
New Year's, man. I want to be also the first to say officially here in the barbershop, I'm so glad that 2017 is over, man. I'm so glad. I don't know how you feel about the situation, man, but 2017 was crazy, man.
I would agree.
For
I would
a
agree.
lot of reasons, man.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, the election shook up the entire country, man. It shook up the entire country to where people who've been friends for their entire life would stop talking to each other. You know, families broken up over an election, and people were just crazy. It consumed everybody, man.
Yeah.
And then you look at the situation with the protests with the National Football League, another situation that polarized people, man. Broke up families, friends, relationships were done because I'm not going to watch football anymore. And those overpaid athletes are spoiled, and, you know, this should, you know, they're disrespecting the military and all that.
I understand the cause, but I don't like the way they're doing it.
Exactly.
Right?
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So all that went down in 2017. So, and I'm just glad for it to be over, man. And again, I don't know how you feel about it.
I feel the same way, T. It's stuff in my personal life, man. I've been building a house. It seemed like it's been taking forever. I've been ups and downs with that. And just like you said, all the election stuff, it's been so much, even all the stuff that's going on with the police, everything in 2017, it just seemed like it came to a head, and everybody has been going crazy. So I'm praying for a better 2018.
It's
and
gotta be better.
And I'm about the positive vibes this year, T-Bay. That's what I'm on, man. I'm trying to do stuff with good people and just have a good time, man, and enjoy.
Yeah. And like I said, 2017, we got to put a lot of stuff to bed for that year. Of course, the Huskies ended off in a not-so-good fashion. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. The Seahawks, they didn't end so well in 2017. We're going to put that to bed as well. Something that happened, since we're talking about personal lives, real quick, I'm going to tell you my holiday story, since I didn't get a chance to hang out with you guys since before Christmas. My Christmas, 2017, I had it geared up to be a spectacular Christmas. You know, the kids were getting everything they wanted. I was going to get some time off to chill and hang out with the family.
Right.
Everybody was going to come to my house for Christmas dinner. We were ready. We were in our new home.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, we went to go hang out with my family, my in-laws. And everything was good. We had our little Christmas stocking opening ceremony. Kids were running around happy. My son was just bouncing off the walls, having a great time. And then we went to the church service, and he complained about his stomach hurting. Oh, my stomach hurts. And he was cuddled up on his mom. And I just thought maybe he ate too much candy, because they were eating candies and cookies and all kinds of stuff beforehand.
That's kids do.
That's kids do. And I'm like, man, suck it up. You ate too much candy. You being,
Could being soft.
Yeah, he's soft. Capital T.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we sit in the front row at the church, man, and my son just T-U'd
On the pastor?
on me. I wish at this point I wish it was the pastor, man, because it was purple. It was a nasty purple projectile vomit, and it stank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he threw up on me. Wife runs him to the bathroom, right? She's in the bathroom. She got my son half naked in the bathroom. She had to take off half her clothes because he threw up on her too.
Oh, Lord.
So they see her run they don't even know that my son threw up to people in the church. They just see her run to the bathroom with a baby and half clothed. And they run back there like, are you okay? We can get you some help. If you need some, like
The big black guy.
the big black dude standing there. Man, because when he threw up on me, I ducked and dodged and moved hella fast.
Right.
Like, so they might have thought I was up in the front row throwing blows, man. So anyway, long story short, man, we got him home. I thought he was just sick with the flu. He complained all night. His stomach was hurting. Didn't even wake up to open presents, true.
Wow.
So when a 5-year-old
That's
doesn't wake up
heavy, yeah.
We ended up taking him to the hospital, and he had to have emergency appendix surgery. He had to have an appendectomy on Christmas Day, man. On Christmas Day, true.
Hey.
We spent 24 hours in the hospital.
That's one for the books right there, T.
It is.
That is definitely one for the books.
But it's another reason why I said I'm so glad to be done with 2017. Anybody else out there, you glad to be done with that year, man? Was it a terrible year for you too? Text us in here, 49451. Let us know if you are ready and pumped and all primed to move on to 2018. One thing I did do this year, True, and I want you to kind of, if you feel comfortable talking about it a little bit,
All right.
is normally...
Just gonna put it out there.
I'm going to put it out there right on the air because, just me and you and a couple thousands of our friends. I normally don't do anything on New Year's Eve.
Right.
That's my deal. Like, I normally just kick back on my couch
Right.
and watch Twilight Zone. I might... exactly. They have the marathon every single year, and I watch it.
I did not know that. All right.
Yes, the old black and whites.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a marathon for the entire night to the next day. But this year, I made an exception. I got an invite to a house party.
What?
I did, man. And it was you.
Don't tell Nate, though.
Don't tell Nate. Don't tell
that we
Nate.
went to a
Don't
party.
tell Nate. We did.
But yeah, T. Holla, man, I appreciate you and the missus coming out to the True Font New Year's Eve Extravaganza. It was kind of like a housewarming deal as well. Like I said, we've been going through the fire.
It's awkward.
Trying to
about
get
a party that I
to
wasn't
this house, and
invited
it was
to.
awesome.
Just pretend he's not
It
here.
was awesome. For the people that came, man, we had a deal that's called a Go Bowl. So you could put your logo and stuff up there on the wall. So people walk up, it said, Happy True Year.
Oh, yes.
2018, we
fly.
had the flare. I came with my fit. I ain't really getting no pictures. I got to look through my phone, man. I was hosting, and it really went down. About 100 people showed up to the house.
It was big time, man. And you
Yeah,
guys
we did
have-
it in the basement. It goes down,
in
the basement.
man. These guys had. Listen, let me tell y'all. So this is the first time I've been to Marcus Trufant's house in 4 years.
Don't
by
lie.
the
Don't lie on air.
way. And the party was so amazing, man.
Shout out to DJ Super Sam for holding
DJ
it down.
Super Sam held the party down. These guys had Nathaniel. I don't want to rub it in for you, but I'm going.
I feel like you're rubbing it in for me.
I don't want to rub it in, but I'm gonna rub it in a little bit, man. Marcus Trufant set it out on New Year's, man. These guys had a donut bar. Have you ever seen a donut bar?
No.
Like it had racks of donuts, like all varieties and flavors. Like
You feel me?
as tall.
You feel me?
Like it was eye level. That's how high they were stacked up. And then, of course, he had the libations flowing. And
I did a little food truck too. I wish I had the name, give them a shout out. I had the taco truck, really went down. I'm gonna get the name, give them a shout out on social. But food truck in the driveway. So as we and while we at it, I had a hypnotist.
that's where I was going
there.
next. True.
I'm gonna let you just tell it too.
I'm gonna
let
tell
you-
it, man.
yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna let it, but I need you to add the details. to
Don't
it.
tell
So-
Nate though. Don't tell
don't
Nate.
tell Nate,
Yeah,
then.
yeah. Just
Forget
act
it.
like he's.
Yeah.
Just take you off the air.
Maybe I can hypnotize Nate so he could forget we had this conversation.
Right.
Because I watched this hypnotist that was at your house, man, and it was so surreal. Like I thought about going up there for a second and getting hypnotized. And then my better judgment took over, man.
Right.
Because have you ever been hypnotized?
This the one thing I found out about black people because I told all my friends I was having a hypnotist coming to the house and they
Right.
like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I don't mess with the spirits
That's
and the
devil.
demons.
That's
right.
the devil.
Man.
And
Then they made me nervous, so I didn't
know.
do it.
Listen,
So
the reason why I didn't do it, I've only been hypnotized once in life, and it was in Las Vegas, and it was years and years and years ago. And I really feel like I got hypnotized. Like I really felt like I had no control over what was popping. And so I like to be in control of this
Right.
situation. I don't want to be in front of all your friends and family,
Right.
Marcus, and making a monkey out of myself.
Right.
Like, boy, you see T. Holla, man, he got up there and took all his clothes off on New Year's Eve. It was a doggone shame, man. But yeah, it was, man, an incredible show, man. It was funny.
it was really fun. I
And,
enjoyed it.
and I just want to say, man, thank you for having us over there, man. It was incredible New Year's. And I said all that to say this is that we put all the bad stuff behind us in 2017 and we moving forward with good stuff. Right, Nathaniel?
Of course.
He looks so mad. at
I'm
us
so
right
angry right now.
Nate, I didn't have your number. See, I got a new phone, right? And
Oh, hell no! Hell no!
All right. I got you.
All right, when we come back, one of the bad things we're going to try to put behind us is the terrible, horrible, no good showing that the Pac-12 had during this year's bowl season. It was atrocious. Did you guys see it? We're going to talk about it when we come back, but I also want to hear from you guys. What was the top sports story in 2017? Text us here at 49451, the top sports story according to you. And tonight we will come up with the top 3 official barbershop list of the top sports stories of 2017. Neither one of them will be Jimmy Garoppolo, I promise.
For a second round pick. That's insane.
Never be
Can you
Jimmy
believe
Garoppolo.
it? It's crazy.
I can believe it because it's not going to be one of the top stories. But when we come back, again, we are talking about the horrible season that the Pac-12 had in the bowl year. It is the Barbershop right here on Sports Radio 950 KJR.org.
Now back to the Barbershop, brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail and by the Trufant Family Foundation on Seattle Sports Radio 950 KJR.
Welcome back to the Barbershop Show here on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's T. Holla. I'm here with my man Marcus Trufant, and we are back for 2018, our first show since the new year. Want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, too. It's our first show in the new year, and it's actually going to be our last show in the new year for a couple of weeks. We got to take a little break, get some things together in our personal house. True got a new house.
mm-hmm.
I got a new house. We got a bunch of kids we got to take care of for a couple of weeks. And we're going to get some things together at home. And then we'll be right back here doing what we do, barbershop style. So please.
Stronger than ever.
Yes.
When we come back.
Stay
huh?
You forgot to mention that I'm getting married.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Nathaniel, look at that.
snap.
Oh, our don't forget Nathaniel.
And he got the bachelor party this weekend.
We're going to the bachelor party.
It's next weekend, not this weekend.
Okay.
I'm flying home to California next Thursday. Bachelor party's on Saturday.
So it's in Cali?
The whole wedding's in Cali.
The bachelor party too, that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, because I moved here about 8-9 months ago now, and everyone I know is still from there, except for like the people I work with, obviously.
So we invited to the
If you want to come
party?
to California, you're welcome to come. My best friend planned it.
You buying tickets?
No.
Oh, hell no! Hell no!
You didn't invite me to Happy True Year, and you're gonna get mad at me for not inviting you to my
So
bachelor
tonight
party?
we are talking about the top stories that involve sports in the year 2017. We want to hear from you guys because tonight we're coming up with the official Barbershop top 3 stories of 2017 when it comes to sports. And we want to hear from you. 49451. Text us here. 49451. We've been getting a couple of them already. I don't want to spill the beans, but we've been getting a few stories, and I agree with some of these that are on here for sure. But we want to hear from you guys. The poll's going to be official. Hit us up once again, 49451. True.
What's up?
The bowl season just finished, my man. And I watched a lot of football. Spent a lot of time on the couch watching a lot of different football. And I got to say, the Pac-12 was completely embarrassing, man. It was horrible. It was horrible from the start. And I take that back. It wasn't horrible from the start because I watched one of the early games. It was Utah versus West Virginia. And Utah handled business. And I was like, okay, cool. We good.
Fresh start.
Yeah,
Nice start.
It was like 1-1. Good to go. And then it just went downhill from there. 1-8. You look at Oregon. They lost to Boise. UCLA got their teeth kicked in. Kansas State. Arizona lost to Purdue. Arizona State lost to North Carolina State. Stanford lost to TCU. USC lost to Ohio State. Wazoo. Michigan State. We'll talk about that in a minute. UW lost to Penn State. It was just a huge black eye to the entire Pac-12. And we were already taking heat across the country from, the likes of ESPN and a few other stations where we had some controversy during the football season as to why they were playing some of our games late in the year and we weren't getting broadcast back on the East Coast like we thought we should. We weren't getting the respect back on the East Coast like we thought we should, man. And it didn't help you at all, the fact that we went down like this, man.
So what you think it is? Do you think it's the recruiting or you just think it's the style of play? I've always had a chip on my shoulder, of course, coming out to the West Coast and you talk about football especially. I think on the basketball side of things, I think we get a little bit more respect when it comes to football and playing big-time football, they always go down south. They always go Florida. Sometimes they go to Cali, but not like that. It's more of a down south type of thing. So the disrespect with the Pac-12 is soft. We pass happy. We really don't get down like that. And it kind of showed and proved itself in the bowl season.
And that's what I was saying. Right. We don't have a leg to stand on at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of nasty. But I think it was one of those things. A lot of those teams down south, and I just come out and say it, T. I feel like they recruit better and they spend a lot more money down there.
What are you saying, Marcus? Tell me what's on your mind, man.
Have you ever heard of a green handshake, T?
Oh, hell no!
But
no, I mean,
I would say they just at times they just feel like they live football down there, especially in some of those communities, and a lot of those boosters are really engulfed into some of those programs, and it shows in the recruiting and it shows in the facilities. And not to take nothing away from some of the great facilities in the Pac-12, but it is a little different.
There's a couple things I'll add to this. So speaking from someone who I learned how to play football down south. Mm-hmm. My first real contact football came in Arkansas. That's where my family originated from. I played high school football in Texas. So I'm just going to give you just my synopsis of how it goes down there. And I also played my senior year in Washington. So I could really, as a person that can give you perspective from both angles.
Right.
I know that down south and in the Midwest, football is more of a lifestyle than it is here. And that's not to take away anything from what we have here, because there are some great football players that come out of the Northwest. There's some great football players that come out of the West Coast. But when you look at places like Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, football in high school and junior high school and middle school, it is the lifeblood of the community. Like, if you are not involved in some way, shape, or form with the football program, it's like you don't exist. You would not exist. And that goes from not just being a football player, but we're talking about the football players, the cheerleading staff, the drill team, the band, the entire, where I lived at, I played for a school called Plano Senior High School, and they would shut the entire city down on Friday nights. And, we would have 10, 15,000, 20,000 people at regular season home games. And so I had a class, Marcus, called football. I had a legitimate class called football. And so I say all that to say, once there's so much, it's a focus. It's a focus down south. Whereas on the West Coast, I think it's more of, it's an option. I think it's,
which could be a good thing.
And that's why I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it even a little bit. I'm just saying that's, when we want to look at the reality of the situation, it's priorities. Like, down there, it is the number one priority. Here, it is not, maybe not necessarily as such. And that's
maybe in Washington, because I feel like we're more of a melting pot and got different things going on, arts and different stuff like that for the kids to do. But I feel what you're saying as far as from being from down there and different stuff going on. Just come out and say it to you. It's country down there.
It's country as hell.
So
it's country as hell.
They not doing a bunch more than playing football and playing sports in some of those communities. That's all they got.
Exactly. And then when you talk about that in those communities where that's all they got, and that's the lifeblood of the entire, most of those communities, more than that. And I think, and this is where you get. And I don't want to I hope nobody takes it the wrong way when I say this. And when you look at some of the better players that come out of the West Coast, of course, you have those kids from the outskirts that, from like Cedar Woolies and the Ferndales and those country, where you get these big country boys that come and, they're ready to get off the farm, man. And that's their opportunity to get off the farm. But you have people, and if you got a chance to watch, for instance, the Georgia game versus the Alabama game,
right,
you see a bunch of big, strong, fast kids across the board. And a lot of times you see some of those kids are from disadvantaged neighborhoods. And I say that because they play the game. And I say that because there's people here in the state of Washington to do the same thing. There are people in the state of California that do the same thing, and probably all across the board on the West Coast, but a very much smaller percentage. People that play the game for a bigger reason than just to be active. Or, I just wanted, my parents put me in.
I want a hobby.
I want to, exactly.
Right.
Look, no, I want to eat. I want to live. I want to get out of my circumstances. So whatever I have to do, whether that means I'm training year round and I have a singular focus to get out of my situation, and this is my opportunity to do it. And it's this football is going to take me there. So I think sometimes you see people that play with a different level, and I, maybe because you play with a chip on your shoulder.
I did, but I would agree to disagree, Justin, because you're making it regional, and then just like you said, there's people out here that do the same thing. So I would say that there's a lot of that going on everywhere, and that's what coaches are looking for in most situations. Guys that want to play, and they might have a bigger a reason to go out and give an extra push or whatever you want to call it. But it's those guys that they want to get on their teams, and I guess it all comes down to the recruiting and the money. Just like I said before, when you got these big programs, and I don't know what the numbers are in the Pac-12, but I know down there in the SEC and all that kind of stuff, it's a lot of big time money that's being made at those institutions. Wink, wink, and none of the players are getting none of that, but they're getting that education, guys.
That education is always
But yeah, there's a lot of big time money down there. So I think that's where the difference is. Even in speaking from my school at Washington State, I know we bring up the rear, I think, in the Pac-12 as far as the funds and stuff that come to the football. Yeah, so you know, if your school is doing big time on the revenue, you can do a lot more.
Hey, listen, I believe that we just scratched the surface on this because I know there's a bigger picture to it. We didn't even get into the fact that, I think they need to change the attitude is starting from the top on down to the bottom. I'm talking about all the way from the Pac-12 commissioner to these presidents at these schools, the athletic directors, the head coaches, even all the way to the training room. I think there's some things that need to change, and we just scratched the surface on it. And I'm sure we'll talk about this again, True. But in the meantime, and in between time, I want to ask you guys this question once again. What was the top sports story of 2017? Text us here, 49451. Let us know. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Seahawks and their dismal season. It's the Barbershop here on Sports Radio 950.
Now back to the Barbershop, brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail and by the Trufant Family Foundation on Seattle Sports Radio 950 KJR.
We're not in the playoffs. No, we ain't in the playoffs. We're not in the playoffs anymore. We had the team to do it. Yeah. But played like crap and blew it. No. So we got pissed and wrote this song.
They did.
Free agents never panned out.
They didn't.
The LOB was wiped out. Until Blair Walsh to just off.
Oh, that was cold-blooded.
'Cause we're not in the playoffs.
Why did we tell Blair Walsh to just F off?
That's tough. I know a lot of people feel that way, though, T, to keep it real.
They do. This was a song made by our friends over there at KZOK, man. It is so fitting. Oh, man, and it hurts to hear it, but we had to play it, man. Welcome to the Barbershop Show here on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's T. Holla and True. We will be here until 8 o'clock hanging out talking about those Seattle Seahawks, amongst other things. We don't want to stay on it too long and be too negative about it.
You know what the
but
funniest thing was?
What, man? I
is-
know you're going to tell me something about
is
San Francisco.
They were Atlanta had already lost, so they were out.
Yes.
But Blair Walsh still managed to miss another field goal before the season was over.
Jesus, don't get me started about the whole
Correction,
Blair Walsh
Nathan.
deal.
Atlanta had already won.
I meant to say that. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Rise up.
Your brother's a
Go
stud. He's a good
Falcons.
corner.
But yeah.
Yeah, they had.
I was thinking about going to the game this weekend.
Anyways, let's talk about some other stuff, man.
Playoffs.
Before we get into the Seahawks, tonight we are doing the official Barbershop top 3 sports stories from 2017, since we haven't been here since before the holidays. We missed Christmas, we missed New Year's Eve, we missed New Year's, so we are doing our New Year's deal here tonight. What are the top stories, in your opinion, in 2017 in regards to sports? Text us here, 49451. We've been getting a lot of input from you guys already. Thank you. Some of the ones that I don't think are going to make it, so I can say it right now ahead of time, was some of the injuries to the NFL superstars. I think that was big this year, True. We got a lot of superstars that went down. Carson Wentz went down. Deshaun Watson went down after he was having a spectacular rookie season, man, unfortunately. And, of course, we got the injury bug here in Seattle as well. Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Cliff Averill, amongst many others. The injuries was a kind of a story this year. It made a difference in the league, right, True?
All the way around the league, yep. I would agree with that. But you said that's not going to make it, T?
I don't think so. We've only got one vote for that. We had that one, just one vote. So I don't know why they didn't make more of a mark than it did. But, hey, it is there. Some of the other ones that I think are better that will probably make it to our. I don't even want to. I don't want to spill
Save
the
it,
beans.
T.
I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it. There was one here. I can't find it anymore, but it definitely was not going to make it. It was the Seattle Mariners breaking the record out of the Big Four sports for consecutive years of not being in the playoffs.
Oh, hell no! Hell no!
That's too bad, too. I feel like the Mariners.
That's too bad for them.
That is too bad. Because I like the Mariners, man. That's Seattle, and, it would be a different. I think the city would have a little bit more oomph.
Yeah.
It's different when the team's is balling, man. The city is on fire, man. It brings me back to the days of the Sonics and all that kind of stuff. It was definitely a good look, man, when the team's is on fire. So.
And unfortunately, our big team that's in town right now is not on fire. They are on Vacation.
Mm.
Early vacation. So let's go back a little bit and look at this, True. I mean, really, honestly, I'm trying to avoid talking about it because we could talk about this all day and all night, man. But there's just so many things to discuss about it. The Seahawks this past week needed a win versus Arizona in CenturyLink, which shouldn't have been a super hard thing to do. And they needed Carolina to go down to Atlanta and beat the Falcons, which neither of those things happened.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of those things happened, and it was all bad. It was like, and we've heard it over and over this entire week. The game was like a microcosm of everything that the Seattle Seahawks were about this year. Before we get into that, one of the things that really has stood out to me this season, True, is the Seahawks have gone 4-4 in CenturyLink.
Right.
And that, in recent history of the Seattle Seahawks, that is unheard of, man. And that's something that just can't be overstated. Has the mystique of CenturyLink gone away? Is it done? I mean, because it used to be teams feared to come here. Is it done?
I don't think so. I think what happened is I think that's always going to be there. I think our fan base and everything is so crazy, is so involved, and it's so great. The 12s are always going to bring their energy. They're going to bring the noise. They're going to bring everything they do that's been going on a long time before I was born even. If you go back to the days of the Kingdom, and the teams weren't very good, and that's no disrespect to anybody that played during that time, but the fans were still there. I think what it came down this year was the execution and the amount of steps backwards they took in games with the penalties and stuff that took away from all the good and all that kind of stuff that the crowd brings, and the aura of being in the clink does all the negative stuff that the people getting kicked out of games, the penalties and calls that would bring back a bunch of big plays and stuff like that. Because when you got big plays, the place goes crazy. But when you got a penalty and it brings back, it just brings all the energy back down. So I think that was
get
huge.
it, but there was the mystique to me. Like before the last few seasons, it was like whenever there's a home game, you could almost automatically chalk it up to a W. You could almost automatically say they're not going to lose in Seattle, no matter what. It was going to happen, and I understand there was some big plays, some big momentum changes as far as with the penalties and the Seahawks shooting themselves in the foot, but it turned to a place where teams, like I said, are no longer afraid to come in here, and it's almost like disrespectful. Like you watch some of the teams that came in there, like Los Angeles Rams, they partied on the field, and after the last game, Bruce Arians, he was like. He stepped to the podium at his press conferences like, "This is my house. I'd like to welcome you all to my house." Like,
I'll say this then, T. Do you think it was a toughness thing? Back in the day when the Seahawks, when the fear was there, they had that beast mode feel.
Yes.
They had that running game. They had that dominant offensive line and stuff like that. Even back in the day when you're talking about Walt Jones and you're talking about Steve Hutchinson and people like that, you had overwhelming forces on offense. That would kind of scare teams coming in here.
I think that did have a lot to do with it. I think it had a lot to do with, again, like I said, the sometimes it's about the Jimmies and Joes that are on the field, and there was a hunger in a lot of those guys. You could see in the way they played and the way they rallied to the ball. We still see glimpses of it, but it's just not the same. The way that guys would rally to the ball, the way guys would get off the ball on the offensive line and really bully people. And I think on the flip side of that, on another angle of that, is the actual fans in the stadium. I know it's loud in there still, but I think that, since there's been so much success with this team, it has really turned into more of a party atmosphere in the CenturyLink field. And, they are, and again, it's, at the end of the day, it's business, True. People are trying to sell tickets and people want to fill the seats, but they're getting to a point where it's almost, how can I say it? It's becomes prohibitive for the average fan to go to a Seattle Seahawks game. A real diehard fan, like a guy that goes to work at the, driving a garbage truck or a plumber or doing drywall, and take his kid to the game and get a hot dog and popcorn and a drink and park. You're going to spend $700.
It's become bougie?
It's very bougie.
It's become bougie.
It's bougie. They're drinking Cabernet and all that kind of good stuff, man, at the game, man. But that might be something to it. But I don't know. We will see how it affects the team moving forward. But looking at the play on the field, man, there are some things that are just going to have to change, True. And this is going to be one of the biggest changes that the Seahawks have seen, in my opinion, in recent memory, at least in the last decade. For sure, since Pete Carroll has been here, there are going to be a lot of changes taking place. For a while, they thought Pete Carroll wasn't going to be here. There was some rumors saying he was going to retire, and Pete Carroll came out immediately and squashed that. So no way. He said something like, "No way, dude."
Right.
Like, and again, when I heard it first, I was like, "There's no way he's going to be." I mean, I know he's older. I know he's the oldest coach in the NFL. But if you watch the way he gets down, he seems like, for sure, the youngest coach in the NFL. So I didn't think that was ever a real option. Some other coaches may take positions where they're probably interviewing other places as well. But I don't, honestly, in my opinion, think anything's going to happen to the coaching staff.
Right.
One of the coaches that always takes heat whenever anything goes wrong with the Seahawks has been Coach Bevel.
Right.
Whenever the Seahawks lose, it's the hashtag Fire Bevel.
I had an argument about this weekend too.
What happened?
I'm just saying. I always go back because every time somebody says Fire Bevel, I say he was the same guy that took us to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and then they went into we had a running game, we had Marshawn and all that, but it was still Bevel that's calling the shots, and their defense is that you got to cater your play calling to what you have on the field. But what I would say is that an offensive coordinator is just there to put the guys in the position to make plays. And it comes down to those individual players. They got to go out and make the plays, and the offensive line got to do its job. Quarterback does his job, wide receivers, running back. Everybody has to do the job collectively. And what's been happening is the inconsistency on all levels to kind of be all as one. I don't think it's a Fire Bevel thing. Matter of fact, I know it's not a Fire Bevel thing. It's just about the inconsistency of the execution of the play. I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
No, you do sound a little bit like you should be on get a job on the radio or something, right? No, it's funny that you speak about that execution thing, because that's the part I wanted to bring up next, because immediately following the game, they spoke to our boy, Doug Baldwin. And, they asked him the same questions about Coach Bevel and his play calling and whatnot, and he got kind of animated. He was like, and he had some colorful language, and he was
like it. Angry Doug. Passionate Doug, my bad.
Yeah, he got angry. Yeah, he got angry and basically was saying, no, it's not Bevel's fault. And anybody who thinks that it's Bevel's fault, you're insane. And he was really like telling the people, the journalists and the media who was in the room, like, do you do your homework? Do you watch the film? If you watch the film, you will understand it's about execution. And so he said, and I guess apparently while he was answering the question, he looked to the Seahawks publicist, the guy, the PR guy, and he like, with the look on his face, like, should I say it? Should I say it? He's like, it's about execution. It's about execution. And, it's not about the play calling. As a matter of fact, we got a little clip of Doug speaking.
It's not play calling. It's not play calling. We go into a game knowing what the defense is going to give us, the situations that we're going to be in. We don't execute as a team. Offensively, that's what we've seen countless time and time again, is that we do not execute the way that we should. And that's on us as players. You guys can blame Bev all you want to, but the truth of the matter is Bev's not the problem. Probably already said too much.
So here's the $1 million question, True. I've been listening to sports radio for the last couple of days, and everybody's been, chiming in, giving their opinion. Now, we're going to have to get you off the fence with this one, True. We're gonna stir up the pot.
All right.
What do you think?
Gumbo. Stir it up.
Stir it up, baby. What do you think, or who do you think Doug was referring to when he said, listen, we know it's about execution. It's not the play calling, but we know what the issue is.
I think that's an easy one, T. I think he's talking about everybody on the offensive side of the ball, from the offensive lineman, quarterback, running backs, and the wide receiver.
So you think the quarterback was not representing this year?
I'm not saying that, but it's inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, Russ is a magician at making, a negative play into a positive play, but at sometimes, and I feel like he felt like the load was on his shoulders. He had to do a bunch. He had to do extra. So he turned, a play that maybe he could have just threw the ball away, but instead he runs around and he scrambles around and you lose the 20 yards. You might fumble, you might do something like that. And That's maybe
he's trying to make things happen though. When
Sometime-
we talk about the actual, the game play calling, who to lay the blame on for the failure of this offense. And I think that's what he was trying to get at in that situation.
I think it's a little bit of frustration too, but I think it's always a combo, T. But I think it definitely comes down to the players and the execution. I saw a
You're
lot
for
of
sure that he wasn't
inconsistencies.
You're for sure that he wasn't, because again, some people have been saying that he's just trying to defend his offensive coordinator, and he's just toting the company line, and that Bevel does still hold some responsibility. Do you think he was being honest when he said, "Listen, it's not on Bevel"?
I think so.
Okay.
I think he's being honest.
I do too.
Inconsistency on everybody on the offense. I like it, Doug. Kept it real.
I'm gonna get off the fence. I'm gonna say I believe he was talking about that offensive line, number one, and them running backs. And I think that has been an issue with this team for this entire season. It has been an issue for them for the last 2 seasons. I think if you look at the way this team was built, and I think you look at the way teams are built around the National Football League, the ones that are successful are able to run the ball. And I know I've said this to you in the past, and I've said it to whoever listened to me in the past, that, in order to be really have a really successful team, you need to have a strong running game. And people always like, yeah, Terry, you used to be a running back. That's why you say that. You're probably biased. But no, if you look at the teams, if you look right now today, the 12 teams that are in the playoffs, 9 of those teams are on the top of the NFL rushing statistics.
Okay.
9 of them.
Okay.
So when you're able to run the ball successfully, you can control the game. You can control the clock. An old coach of mine used to tell me back in the day that when you throw the ball on offense, there's 3 things that can happen, True. And 2 of them are horrible.
Right.
You throw the ball, your guy can catch it. Or he could drop it. Or the other guy could catch it. And either way you do it, the clock stops and you give the other team an opportunity to get the ball. So having a successful running game has been the key for this team. They weren't able to run the ball at all this year. Definitely weren't. The running backs didn't even score any touchdowns in the red zone, man. Russell Wilson ended up being the leading rusher on this team, and it's just not very good, man. So,
the running backs had 1 touchdown in the red zone.
Oh, McKissick?
McKissick had 1, and Russell Wilson had 3.
Well, I don't consider Russell Wilson a running back.
I'm just saying that's the
Look, he trying
amount
to
of rushing touchdowns.
He's trying to. Nathaniel is very correct and very.
Get
he
him,
gets
Nate.
it right on the line. I feel.
I
you,
like
Nate.
football a lot.
I hear you. Hey, you make sure you keep me in line, man. True. You agree? Or no?
Like I said, I think, Doug, I don't think it's Bevel. And I say this in every argument that I get in around the barbershops, at the dinner table, at a bar, or whatever, that it's not Bevel. It comes down to execution. And Bevel was there during the good days, so we got to ride with him just like we rode with him then. We got to execute, and we got to do what he's calling, because we've seen in the past that he can get it done.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I know we could go for this for days and days and days, and we probably will for the rest of this offseason, nitpick this season, because it is so many levels to this thing, with the injuries to Cliff, the injuries to Cam, the injuries to Sherm. There's no telling what could have happened with this team. We are here looking at, right now, everybody in Seattle and around the world that are 12 fans are looking at this like it was a disastrous season. We don't know what this team is going to be like moving forward. Could this be the decline of the Seattle Seahawks? And it's crazy to have those conversations when you still have like 5 or 6 Pro Bowl caliber guys on one side of the ball on your roster. Like, you still have Earl Thomas on your roster.
Right.
You still have Bobby Wagner on your roster. You still have Cam Chancellor on your roster. Cliff Averill, Russell Wilson. You have Doug Baldwin. The bones of this team is great.
Right.
But we don't know what's going to happen with anybody at this point in time.
And they just missed the playoffs. It's not like they only won 3 games this year.
Yeah.
Even though it looked nasty and it was inconsistent at times, they still gave themselves a chance. So I know we sitting up here and we're nitpicking, of course, because that's what we do, because we can. Because we ain't got to back it up. But, they fell short, but they were fighting They were fighting a lot. They were fighting against a lot of circumstances with them injuries, like you talked about, and then when you throw that on top of that they jumping off sides and
the
doing a bunch
most
of
penalized
stuff.
team
So,
in the
makes it
NFL,
tough.
the most,
Definitely makes
the
it
second
tough.
most in history, in the entire history of the National Football League. Ever. Hey, man, we're going to talk about this at length throughout the rest of the offseason. But for now, we got to move on. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about winners and pretenders. You know this game we play around here. It's lots of fun. But in the meantime, we want to know what your top sports story of 2017 is. We got a lot of votes coming in. We're going to give you the Barbershop's official list of the top 3 sports stories of 2017. If you haven't chimed in yet, hit us up, 49451. It's the Barbershop here on Sports Radio 950 KJR.
Barbershop, brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail and by the Trufant Family Foundation on Seattle Sports Radio 950 KJR.
You want party with Cardi? Cardi a body in a Rari. Diamonds all over my body, shining all over my body. Cardi got your bitch on Molly. You ain't gang.
Welcome back to the Barbershop Show here on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's T Holla. I'm with my man Marcus Trufant, and we're going to be rocking with you all the way to 8 o'clock. Thank you for hanging out with us for a little while. Nathaniel back there on the board, 1s and 2s, man, spinning the cuts with the Cardi B.
Cardi B blowing up right now.
Cardi B is killing the game. Cardi B had one of the most incredible 2017s of all. You know what I'm saying? Like
History.
In
In history.
history, man. Listen, for those of you who might not be familiar with Cardi B, she is a female rapper now.
Yeah.
But prior to being a female rapper, before 2017, what was she known as, True?
I think she was, she came from the reality show.
She was on a reality show.
New York hip hop or
Love
something,
hip-hop, something of that.
Yeah,
But why was she on it?
But I think she came from, the pole. T.
She was the poll, like she was taking polls for like CNN or something. What you mean?
She was I'm in love with a stripper.
Oh, hell no! Hell no!
But that just shows that
Yes.
hard work and determination. And it's no slight on strippers. They working, they earning, they keep, they doing their thing.
Going to
It ain't for
college.
everybody.
It ain't for everybody, right?
But but she has a great business plan and she made it.
Yeah, she made.
TV,
She had.
now she rapping and now she winning.
She is winning.
She's setting
getting-
records, I
man,
think, for
She
album
really is. Yep. She is. She's
sales
doing her
and
thing, man.
whatnot.
Shout out to Cardi B, man. Incredible 2017. Tonight, we are asking you, though, what sports story was the top one of 2017? We've been getting lots of great votes, man. Some not so great, but lots of votes nonetheless. Sergio Garcia wins the Masters. I don't think that's going to make the cut. Not on this show.
T?
Not on this show.
Why?
We don't do a lot of that around here, man.
Why?
Because we just don't. Why?
Why?
Maybe. You never know. If you want to vote for it, keep sending in. Say Sergio. Another one, the rise of Isaiah Thomas to the national stage has captured the nation.
Okay.
The boy Zeke is doing his thing. He
253 in
absolutely is.
it.
Tacoma representing.
Yeah.
Another one. Wow, this is Cortez Kennedy's death.
Mm.
That is a sad, sad story that took place in 2017. Look, we have a couple, though, that said Jimmy Garoppolo going to the 49ers for only a second-round pick, making the Patriots look dumb.
Mm.
I like that.
I got
texter.
2 votes for that. Jimmy Garoppolo traded to the Patriots. Why? Wait a minute. That's 1925. Nathaniel, is that you, man?
Wow.
Nathaniel is texting the text board from in the station. Come on.
If you ain't cheating,
I'm
you
sorry,
ain't
it's the
trying.
best story of the year.
That is the worst story up. Man, matter of fact, you're going to get one of these, man.
Oh, hell no! Hell no!
I'm used to it by now.
All right, you got one more segment to get your votes in, 49451. Let us know what your top story of 2017 was. True, it's time for us to play the game that we love around here called Winners and Pretenders. We're going to throw out a name, a situation, a person, a place, or a thing, and we're going to determine whether that is a winner or it is a pretender. Are you guys ready to get down with this?
Let's do
Of course.
it.
All right, man. The New England Patriots, led by the one and only Tom Brady, they are going to win another Super Bowl, True? Is that statement winning or is that statement pretending?
I think that statement is winning. If you're gonna bet on any team, the consistency of the Patriots is what I would bet on. So I'll say that's winning.
Okay. Nathaniel.
I think that's winning. I think there's only one team that can actually beat them, and it's going to be the Vikings in their own home stadium in the Super Bowl. That's the only team that has any chance of beating those Patriots because they've already shown they can kick the Steelers' butt up and down the field. And the Steelers just can't beat the Patriots in Foxborough. I mean, that was in Pittsburgh, and they still lost.
Okay.
So
who do we think is going to be? Do we think the Los Angeles Rams have a shot?
I think the Rams could knock off the Falcons this week, but I just don't see them going into Minnesota and winning the following week.
It could be tough. I like the way the Rams are playing right now. I actually feel like the Rams will beat Minnesota in Minnesota. I
just don't see it because they stopped the run. And the Rams are so heavy on the run. I just don't see it happening.
Well, we're going to find out here in a couple of weeks here shortly. But all that to say this, Tom Brady gets the guys ready to play. Belichick gets the guys ready to play. A bunch of guys out there playing wide receiver that look like they should be doing your taxes. And that's, Edelman and Andola and Associates. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Wow.
I love it, though. I love it.
And Gronkowski's going to be doing his thing as well. I think, as much as everybody hates the evil empire, I think they're going to win it again.
All I do is win, no matter what.
The Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. Sorry, guys. Next question. The SEC. Somebody cell phone going off in here?
Nate, come on,
I told
Nate.
you about,
Get it
man.
together, brother.
I don't even have my ringtone on.
Nah, playing games
that
in
was
here,
me
man.
on the social media webs. My bad.
The SEC is the best football conference in all of America. True.
Just because I'm a hater, no. It's not.
No.
Okay.
You don't even have to. You don't have to. This is winners and pretenders. You don't even have to defend it. You just throw it out there. No. Okay.
Biased. They hate on everything West Coast, and so no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say yes because name a team that's been better than Alabama the last 4 or 5 years.
Clemson.
Last year, but Alabama has been there every single year.
Yeah. So.
I mean, and the thing is about those teams is those teams like they're consistently there every single year.
They got the most money.
They do.
Truth really wants to
but
believe that there's
even
some...
when Washington went to go play Alabama last year, like there was a lot of hope here, and they couldn't do it. Like I don't see a Pac-12 team ever beating Alabama.
You know what? I'm gonna go on record and say this. I'm Pac-12 till I die. I was bred playing football down south. I went to UW. I bleed purple, and when it comes to the Pac-12 versus anybody else, I'm siding with the Pac-12 in most occasions, aside from Oregon. That being said, we got Georgia versus Alabama in the national championship game. How in the hell do you let two teams from the same conference get into the national championship game? It makes no sense. Like, I couldn't even imagine if it was like USC and Oregon back in the day playing against each other when they were both good. Like, it just, at some point, somebody has to knock them off, unless you can't. And at this point, nobody can. So they are the best. True. 2 votes to 1.
All I do is win, no matter what.
That don't mean we can't come back, though. The Pac-12 will rise again. I think
Washington's really good. They have a lot of good recruits. Like there's some good kids coming out of that school. Now Washington State, I can't say the same thing, but I think
wait a minute.
I think Washington's gonna. I think Washington's gonna run the Pac-12 going forward.
It's about the recruiting. It's hard for teams in the Pac, especially the Washington school. Or I'm just speaking for Washington State. It's hard to recruit at Washington State.
It is, and it's tough to even recruit in Washington. You have to get diehard kids that want to come play in the rain and cold.
But if anybody's out there and they want to donate to the Washington State Athletics Fund, please do.
He's a homer right now. All right, guys. Baker Mayfield, the much misunderstood quarterback. I call him misunderstood, right? He's the misunderstood quarterback from Oklahoma. He is going to become a great quarterback in the National Football League. True.
I like him. I like his edge. You say he's misunderstood. I think he just got some fight about him. So I like it. I think so. Yes.
All right. What do you think, Nathaniel?
The thing about it is he's got like that. He looks like Russell Wilson out on that field a lot of the time. The problem is he doesn't have the mindset that Russell Wilson has, where he's like a great leader and all that. He does stupid stuff. And he just like grabbing your crotch on the sideline, dude, just stop. Or like, and the thing is like everyone's yelling at him, get humble when he loses that game. And it's because he's just been an ass.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's swag. That he kind of reminds
But the
me
thing
of
is,
like a Cam Newton.
He's going to go to the Denver Broncos who have literally nothing. And he's going to go have to be their star. And he's just not going to be able to do it, I don't think.
Yeah. So you think he's a pretender as
Yeah.
well. Okay. I look at it like this. I think he's a smaller in stature quarterback. He fit well into the program. He is a fighter. I'll give him that. He has a lot of moxie about himself. I don't know if I would call it swag.
Swag.
I don't know if I would call it swag. But let's look at this. Let's look at historically the last few quarterbacks that have won the Heisman Trophy. Okay, can you think of one who has really stepped into the NFL and been a game changer? We've had Marcus Mariota, who's he's pretty much of a middle of a road quarterback. Would you
Carson
agree?
Palmer, I think, is the only one I can really think
Yeah,
of.
it's a long time ago.
And that's a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? We got Johnny Manziel, RG3, Cam Newton's doing okay. Sam Bradford, Tim Tebow. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen any of the panned out, and he's just a guy that rubs me the wrong way, so I'm going to say he's a pretender as well.
Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender.
Before we hit to break, I got one last one, and this is we got to bring it home local, so let's run through it real quick. Isaiah Thomas is going to have another all-star season like he did last year. He played his first game last night. First game back, balled out. Is he going to have another all-star season?
Let's go, Zeke. Let's go, Tacoma. Yes, he will. I saw the flashes of him out there doing the run and gun, and he got the guys behind him, especially when Bron went to the bench, and it was him and D-Wade, and they had a little run. They had their thing going. It looked good, man. It was like music. It was magic. It was great.
Magic. I'll give you that. Yeah, okay.
As a Warriors fan, I'm not afraid of the Cavs unless Isaiah's on the floor.
Ooh.
And when Isaiah was on the floor last night, granted it was the Trailblazers, whatever. They're terrible. Minus Dame. I like Dame and I like McCollum, but they're not good. They're not going to beat the Warriors. I'm saying Isaiah Thomas puts that team in a chance where they have a chance in a 7-game series against the Warriors. Is he going to be a star? I mean, he'll do stuff. I don't think he's going to be like an MVP candidate or anything. He's not going to be doing what Kyrie's doing in the Celtics. Like,
ooh,
yeah.
Really?
Kyrie's killing it. Kyrie is killing it.
Yeah, but look at Isaiah from last year. So you're getting a pretender vote.
I mean, yeah, because that team already has their leader. They don't need Isaiah to be a leader.
They don't need him, but when you have two leaders on the court at the same time, I think magic can happen. You see what he was able to do last night in limited minutes. You see he has the heart of a champion, man. He's fought hard to come back off this injury. Looking at his season last year, 28.9 points per game, which is second only to Larry Bird in Celtics history, man. I think he's going to have another outstanding season. I don't know if he'll necessarily have the same point productivity, but as far as being another guy that they're going to have to defend on the court who can put points up, who can get the ball to LeBron, who can get the ball down in the post, I think he's the guy, man. So he's going to be a winner.
All I do is win, no matter what.
When we come back, we are going to announce the official Barbershop top sports stories of 2017. You got about 3 minutes to get your final votes in. Other than that, we got it locked up. It's the Barbershop.
Now back to the Barbershop, brought to you by Trufant Auto Detail and by the Trufant Family Foundation on Seattle Sports Radio 950 KJR.
Welcome back to the Barbershop Show here on Sports Radio 950 KJR. It's T. Holla and Marcus Trufant here, about to shut it down for the night. What was that beat we was just playing? By the way, if you guys did not know, Marcus is in charge of all the music here on the Barbershop Show. He sends them all over
most of the time.
Most of the time. When you hear stuff like that.
When you hear Cameo, that's me.
You got the Cameo and whatever that was.
I love
Prince.
Cameo.
Hey, man, I'm trying to stay new school, man. You got to do it for the youngsters, man. That's 21 Savage, Big Sean. You
21.
You feel me?
21.
Pull up and rap.
I feel you. Oh, that's what that was. It was just a musical version.
I cannot play the lyrics to that song on the radio.
And why not, Nathaniel?
Because it says some words that the FCC does not like.
Oh, man.
Hey, could you send me that instrumental, Nate? I think I'm going to go to that on the way home.
Freestyle on the way home?
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it on record. Put that on YouTube. Sure. Hey, listen. We are getting ready to shut it down for the night. Before we do, though, we have been building up for this moment. since the show started tonight, actually for a couple weeks now, we've been, since we have not been on the air since before Christmas. We have not been on the air for New Year's Eve. We were not on the air for New Year's. So we are doing tonight our New Year's Extravaganza, where we are going to announce the official Barbershop top 3 sports stories of 2017. So with no further ado, that's my drum roll. I don't know if y'all can hear it. I'm drumming on my desk. We have a low budget here. They can't afford drums for the barbershop.
The lowest.
Number 3 on our list was the Patriots Super Bowl win versus the Atlanta Falcons. True, this got a lot of votes, a lot of votes. It didn't get enough to beat out the top 2, of course, but this was an amazing game. I know you don't like to talk about it too much because it's your brother's squad, the Atlanta Falcons, but bro, I have never, ever, ever in my life, and not to my recollection, especially on the highest stage that you could possibly be on, seen a meltdown like that.
Right. It was something to watch and be there in person. Personally, I could honestly say that I felt the energy and I seen it coming. Like,
you were there. You were actually in the building.
Yes, I was in the building, and you could feel, they're not getting off the field on third down, and the Atlanta offense is kind of stagnant. The Patriots are steadily moving the ball, and they was down. What was it down? 21.
It was like 21 points in the first half.
They just kept coming and just kept coming. I was like, everybody in the crowd is going crazy. I know y'all seen the videos of people like Bow Wow, showing out early and then
cutting up, like
pretty much crying at the end of the game. But it was one of those things. The energy in the stadium changed, and I was like, don't celebrate too much, y'all. Just wait, just chill. You
told them sit down, be humble,
just relax. But it sure enough came around.
One of the most improbable victories all time in Super Bowl history, outside of not throwing the ball on the 1 yard line. I think.
Snap.
Yeah.
Snap.
I think that's number 1 in my Super Bowl history. Yeah, but yeah, the New England Patriots winning Super Bowl was the number 3 story of 2017, according to you, our listeners here on the Barbershop Show. Number 2, the Houston Astros winning the World Series. Now, I think that was big for a number of reasons. Number 1, in my opinion, the reason why the story was so big and the reason why it got so many votes is because, if you do not remember, Houston was in the throes of, was it Hurricane? What was it? One of them hurricanes. Hector? The city was underwater, and it was just recovering.
Right.
It was such a good vibe to bring back to a city that was under so much turmoil. And my man Nathaniel, you were really heavy into it because you hate the Dodgers.
I hate the Dodgers, and so seeing a team like a humble team like the Astros, who built themselves through the draft, go against the dirty, mangy Dodgers and knock them off. It felt so good. In that Game 7, they never
gave them a chance. They were going back and forth. It was a Game 7. So it went all the way to Game 7.
Great series.
And there was like lots of drama, little side stories, with the pitcher.
And then Kershaw got knocked off, and it was so good.
Yep. So,
hate the Dodgers.
That definitely it made its way on the list for a good reason. But the number 1 story of 2017, according to you, the Barbershop listeners, was... Can anybody guess?
Jimmy Garoppolo for the 2nd-round pick.
Yes! That is absolutely not it, man!
I got one I want to be on there.
What?
My boys from the Triple B. Big Baller Brand, baby. They came in, man. They put their stamp on the game. So,
hell no!
I wish it was that. Actually, that's my new vote.
That would be great. But alas, it is not.
Okay.
The number 1 story for 2017 in the world of sports, according to the Barbershop, is the National Football League kneeling protest. Man,
I figured that was coming.
That was a landslide, man. A landslide. And, and I think it was for a number of reasons. And the fact is, it was just so polarizing, for number 1. Like, it had people digging their heels in and choosing sides, true. And, there were some people who were, just so turned off by the fact that these players would actually decide to take a knee during the national anthem, and they got offended and turned it into their own argument, and saying that these people were disrespecting the country, disrespecting the military, and people actually, decided they were going to protest the protesters.
Right.
On one hand, and then you have the other people who were actually kneeling, and the people who supported them, and they said, nah, it just turned into a big. For a while, people were, again, polarized. They chose sides. And I think what actually happened, True, is as it progressed through the season, people started to actually talk and discuss and actually listen to each other. And I think if we keep going in that direction, it was all positive.
Right.
So the kneeling, whether you might have gotten your feelings hurt about it, we have a positive outlook from it. And, the commissioner, Roger Goodell, he's set aside some money to help, mend some of the relationships that are going on in these communities between the police and minorities. And at the end of the day, I think it's a great thing.
Right. And, well, I guess if that's the biggest story to go with that, because the kneeling, I guess you would say that is the sports portion of it, but the kneeling was because of the mistreatment of the minority. So if you say that it kind of goes hand in hand, and that was the two biggest stories of last year.
Absolutely.
I guess was the cops and the mistreatment of the minorities in this country. So that goes hand in hand, and it's I guess there is some positives to it. There's some silver linings, but it all goes hand in hand, and I feel like we still got a lot of work to do.
And we definitely got a lot of work to do, and we're going to continue to do the work. We're going to continue to do our part and hear from the barbershop to bring light to situations that we feel are important and things that we like to, that we support and things that we have fun at doing. Because if it's not fun, True,
we don't
why
do
it,
it,
right?
Yep.
We're not going to do it, man. And the barbershop is always fun for us. Hey, we are going to take a little break, though. We're going to come back and get back to things right after the Super Bowl. We don't want to belabor the fact that the Seahawks are not in the playoffs for the next few weeks, so we're going to take some time off. And
Some healing.
heal. Exactly, right, True. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We're going to give you many, many updates as the weeks go on and weeks progress, but we'll be back, you guys, because we love you too much to go away for too long, man. So until the next time we get a chance to get together, you guys take it easy, be easy. Follow us on social media, Twitter, _barbershop show _.
Barbershop show _, and on Instagram is Barbershop Show.
That's right. Hey, until then, it's T. Holla and Marcus Trufant, and it's the Barbershop here on Sports Radio 950 KJR.